In the words of one of our very smart producers, Earl, on the next episode of the Cleveland Browns.
It's a disaster.
So here we go.
You hate to see
6-3. We were talking yesterday about home field advantage.
Yeah,
You've got the biggest game coming up on Sunday when they host the Steelers, and Deshaun Watson's season is over. We told you yesterday about the MRI on his ankle. Not much concern here.
Right.
What we didn't know was that he was also at the same time having an MRI on his right throwing shoulder. And from what we're told, this is a completely different injury from what he suffered earlier in the season, the microfracture tear to the rotator cuff. This is a displaced fracture to the glenoid bone. And let's go right to Mikey McNuggets for an exact description of what the hell that is.
Yeah, so I looked on WebMD because I'm not a doctor. But WebMD is as close as we can get, and I confirmed this with Dr. Jesse Morse, who's going to join us on tomorrow's show to give us a long-term picture of Deshaun Watson's injury. But according to WebMD, and confirmed by Dr. Jesse Morse, a glenoid fracture occurs when there is a shoulder dislocation or shoulder subluxation, and the ball comes out of the socket. As the ball dislocates, it can push against the rim of the glenoid socket, causing a fragment of the bone to
Yeah, the bottom line is he's out for the year.
Done for the year,
You know,
of course.
That's
He
it.
needs
It's a
surgery.
disaster.
They're scheduling it now.
But they have to do this. They have to say that.
Yeah.
Because these quack conspiracy theories will start right up talking about chemtrails and why Deshaun Watson was hurt the whole time. He wasn't
And
hurt.
he's not really Deshaun Watson. He's actually
a
Darrell
clone.
Revis.
Yeah, no, he got hurt a second time.
Yeah.
It's not the same injury. It's not a conspiracy. Cut it out right now.
Yeah, Andrew Berry was very clear. That was a question that was posed to him during the news conference. Did this have anything to do?
Yeah.
Was this a result of him playing hurt? It was a clear and definitive no. We have to take them at their word.
Thank you.
We certainly didn't examine his shoulder. We have to take the team at their word when they tell us that. Makes perfect sense. Mike, you believe you have found the play in which the injury occurred.
We do.
Andrew Berry said sometime in the second quarter. We think we have it.
Yeah, Jake Burns tweeted this out, so shout out to Jake Burns of the Orange and Brown Report. But this is the play that, according to Andrew Berry, matches up with the timeline of what happened. You can see Watson scrambles and is going to take a hit from Patrick Queen right in the shoulder.
Yep.
He bounced up. Didn't look like anything happened in the moment. He popped right up. Didn't really shake off his shoulder. But this appears to be and matches the timeline Andrew Berry described.
Yeah.
The play where Deshaun Watson.
And that makes sense.
Remarkable that he played that second half with a broken shoulder
as well
and
as he
an
did.
ankle.
As well, he was 14-14.
I mean,
Well, listen, the thing about him
Amazing.
is the toughness thing, like that.
Yeah, let's put those
all
rumors
of that
to bed.
can go
those
to
were
bed.
already put to bed, but this is another level.
But because I think, what is it, Tom Pelissari's report said he was ready to get ejected for the rest of the season
Right.
to continue
In
playing.
fact, Mary Kay asked Andrew Berry if that story was true, and he did say yes.
So
And
by the way, that's a play-
sounds like a guy that wants to be out there.
That's a question that a player would ask. You know, when they're told, when they
course.
tell you we got to shut it down for surgery.
I
In
get
his
it.
mind, he's thinking, "Wait, I just played the best half of football in the last couple of years. Shoot me up, I can get through this."
And I don't
Clearly,
want
no.
listen, I'm in one of those moves. If you wanted to sit at these cubicles and you got a sore throat and you don't go to work, shut the hell up. I ain't talking. You can't talk on football.
Yeah,
You
this
sit
is
in
next level.
So you sit in your cube, hang out, and let the doctors tell who's who. We're gonna shut that down right now so we can get that out of the way and talk about what's really going on here.
And we'll
Now,
get
Mike-
Andrew Berry press conference. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, real quick, we have a little breaking news, and we're going to get back to this in a sec. But Jordan Schultz of Bleacher Report, who is pretty credible, just tweeted out the Browns are planning to start DTR at quarterback this week versus
That's
Steelers.
the right
barring a
move.
That's the
last-minute
right move.
change.
I was going to suggest the
PJ
same
Walker
thing.
would be DTR's backup, which we'll get to all of that coming up here. But just so
I-
people
I
know, we're
believe
not
that-
missing the news. This is
No, I'm glad
happening.
that that's out there.
Yeah.
Jordan Schultz, great job. I think that's the right play.
Absolutely.
We've seen enough of PJ. Well, 1 touchdown, 5 interceptions.
That's the thing. So what is the one thing? How the Browns have been playing this whole season? What's the one thing that's killing them? Turnovers. So
Can't have 'em.
you can overcome any game if you just have a quarterback that don't turn the ball
it.
over. Your defense is playing well. The running game is going well. All you need is a quarterback that's going to take care of the football, and you still have a shot to win every game. So I think the DTR, although he had 3 picks in his first start, I think that you give him a game plan, you let him go through the whole week.
He
get
didn't
some
prepare the whole
chemistry,
week.
I think it'll be better.
You know, the bottom line is no matter who they replace Deshaun Watson with, whether it's one of these two guys for the foreseeable future or somebody, and we'll go through some other names maybe, they can't win the Super Bowl. They can't.
I'm not ready to. I'm not ready to go that far yet.
I got to see it first. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know yet. I don't know.
I saw Nick Foles beat a really good Patriots team.
Yeah, we can bring up all the anomalies we want.
Well,
I don't know.
So when you say you can't, that means 0% chance.
So would you agree their odds took a significant hit?
Yes.
Full of course.
Yes.
That's
There
my
is
point.
a slim chance.
That's my point. And that just sucks.
It
because
does
we were
suck.
just talking about yesterday home field advantage and all these great things, and it's finally coming together. And I have never believed in curses my whole life. My rational brain knows curses are ridiculous. But I woke up, I said to my wife when I saw this news, I was like, I may start finally believing that there are curses. This is crazy.
Well, from the chapter that we can't have nice things. There's it seems like the trajectory of a Browns fan, really a Cleveland sports fan, is you get taken to the brink of euphoria.
Yeah.
And then the floor drops, and then you fall to the depths of the valleys of the lowest low that a fan can feel.
Pretty much.
And I honestly feel in the last 48 to 72 hours, that is the cycle that Browns fans have gone through. When I walked in, you immediately looked at me and said, "You look crushed." And I said, "No, I'm built for this." Browns fans are built. We're used to this. Like if there's one thing that Browns fans know, it's adversity.
Yeah, but you're still crushed. Yeah, how could you not be crushed?
No, listen, it's very, very defeating.
Yeah.
Very defeating. In reality, we weren't the favorites to win the Super Bowl, guys.
No.
We saw that we had a chance. This is crushing if you're 9-1 and you're the favorite to win the Super Bowl.
I don't agree.
We're not.
I disagree with
One
that.
of 4 or 5 teams in the
I
AFC
disagree with that.
that has
I
a
completely
legitimate
disagree.
chance.
I disagree
I mean, there
with
are
that one.
holes on this roster. It's not like when you look at the Eagles and you look at the
There are
Chiefs,
plenty of
even the
holes.
Chiefs have holes. But what I'm saying is, yes, it's disappointing. But, and by the way, Andrew Berry must have grown up on Mulberry Street. Oh, well, we view this as an incredible opportunity.
Ain't no opportunity.
No, this is not an incredible opportunity. This is the scene from The Office that's the meme where everybody's running around saying it's happening and there's panic. I hope someone's reaching for a phone right now and making phone calls. And they said they're going to get a backup another quarterback in here.
Yeah.
But this nonsense that he kept repeating, we like the room right now. Now,
What is he going to say, Jay?
Bull,
I don't know
bull,
what
he's gonna
bull.
say.
Jay is
Don't lie to
upset.
me. Don't
What do you want
spit
him
in
to
my
say?
face.
What
and
did you
tell
want
me
him to say?
everything.
So wait a
You know
minute.
what? I'll tell you what I wanted to say.
Can I tell you?
Guys, here's the reality. The quarterbacks on our roster that are able to play have 1 touchdown and 8 interceptions. Now, granted, I dealt away a guy who currently has 11 touchdowns and 5 interceptions.
There's not a person on the planet that
I
would
know
ever
he
say
won't.
that.
I know
Ever.
he won't.
Nobody
but
would.
you have to come up to this conclusion.
I'm gonna
What
give
we
you
have
my
isn't
dumb
enough.
Of course it's
I'm
not.
gonna-
but
And
I'm
he
not gonna
says, yeah,
say
we're
that.
going to add a quarterback.
I'm gonna give you the dumbed down version.
Yeah.
Listen, we got PJ in there. We got DTR. They've done a nice job so far. We like what
They
we
haven't.
have.
They're 1-8.
But
1 touchdown, 8 picks.
We've
won in spite of that.
We understand that. And then he pivots and says, but look, we have a great roster. We feel that we have a
like
Super
the
Bowl
room.
defense, and we're going to do everything that we can in our power
Yeah.
to go out and get a quarterback to add to what we have.
Well,
What
they
he's saying
said
in the
that.
press conference is meaningless. He's not going to shit on players on his team.
That's
He's
what
not
I'm
gonna
saying.
do
Like,
that.
y'all
no,
got to
Bull,
cut
you
that
don't
out.
have to do it.
Like,
Bull,
The way
y'all
you
gotta
said,
cut
Jay, was
that out.
shitting on his players.
What he
That's
has
not-
to do is say what we all know.
You're going to go get a
Quarterback of
He's-
this team
wait a minute.
for the rest of the season.
He said that they were going to add a quarterback.
yeah,
at some
he did.
point.
Okay.
We like the room.
Okay, so I'm gonna go out
He
there and
said that
just tell
16
my
times.
players that
No.
they're not good.
No, obviously, you can't tell me you like that room. Because if you do, then I have to judge your assessment of talent.
I think
Now look,
you looking too deep into it.
DT, look,
You
he's
too deep
the
into
guy
this.
that has to decide if what we
I
have
know,
is enough.
but who cares what he says in a press conference? I want to go back to what you said about not being devastated because they weren't the first choice. I think that's crazy.
They're not the first choice. Bull.
It doesn't matter.
They're not
Who cares if they're the first choice? They
There
were
are-
a contender to win the Super Bowl. Bottom line.
There
with
are a
Deshaun
lot of
Watson,
those.
They were a legitimate contender to win the
Agreed.
Super Bowl. They were one of the best teams in the league. They had beaten
If you want me to crumble and cry, I'm not
I'm
going
not
to do
wanting
that,
you
Bull.
to crumble
I'm
and
not.
cry. I'm just saying to say, well, it's not that big a deal.
I didn't say that.
No,
I didn't
but to
say
say
that.
it's not
But
devastating
when
because
I
they're not
walked
number
in,
one.
When I walked in, the first thing Tyvis said
Yeah.
was, "Look at the devastation on your face," and I said, we're used to this. We handle this kind of stuff. Now, again, I took it to the next level and said, we're not 9-1 here.
That's irrelevant.
We're
Nobody's
6-3. We could easily be 3-6. You know how the NFL
They could
goes.
easily be 9-1.
They could. You're right. However, if you're honest with yourself,
yes,
and you're handicapping the teams and the chances that they have of winning the Super Bowl in the AFC, where were the Browns yesterday?
So let me ask
if you're
you,
handicapping them, are they one?
I had them 2 in the AFC.
No kidding.
Yes, yesterday.
Wow.
2 in the AFC.
So here's
Behind
my
the Chiefs.
Here's the thing.
Wow.
You got a defense like that, and you can play like that. They've gone on the road to beat Baltimore. They've played well against teams that in the NFC that people think
They beat
are
San
good.
Francisco.
They played against San Francisco.
Who else right
played
now
against
besides
Seattle.
the Chiefs would you have ahead of them?
Bull.
Right now.
Bull.
You said right now.
Yeah, I still think, even though they haven't done anything, they haven't beaten any good teams, Miami still scares me. I still would have to say Miami is a team that they have to look out for.
Favorite than the Browns? Why?
No, I think that all of these teams are pretty much
I
thrown
know
into
that,
a
but
bowl.
I'm saying
Throw them into a bowl.
But that's what I'm saying. The Browns,
Bull.
had as good a chance as anybody to win a Super Bowl.
Wait a minute, can I say something?
No, I disagree with that. As good a chance as anybody means you have them as the favorite. Maybe co-favorite, but you have them as the favorite.
They were my second choice.
Okay.
In the AFC.
That's you.
That's as good a chance as most teams.
Go ahead.
Tyvis, what's up?
All right, so I just want to speak on the Andrew Berry thing about the press conference.
Right.
So typically how organization works is that they might say some stuff in the press, but like the conversations is all kept internally.
Of course it is.
So it's like, of course he's not going to tell us exactly what's on his mind.
But you don't have to lie to us.
He's not lying. He didn't lie.
He likes the quarterback room.
He has no choice.
Because again,
he has no choice.
Tyvis,
Guys,
I've been in this game for 35 years.
Choice,
I
Jay.
understand what coaches can and can't say
Jay,
in public.
He has no choice but to say this.
But Tyvis, when you lie to the fan base,
He's not lying.
He likes
every
the room.
GM lies
He has
to the
no
fan
choice
base.
but to like them.
Every GM lies to the
You know
fan base.
how. But this is the thing. He likes them so much that he's about to go add a third quarterback.
By the way,
that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yesterday,
well, he needs to.
I mean, if he would have came out and said, "You know what? We like our room and we're not adding anybody."
Well, no, he
then
has
that's
to
totally
just for
different.
pure numbers.
But
He
I
can't
like
he
my
can't
room.
go forward with 2
You got to be able
quarterbacks.
to
You know
read.
that.
Can you read through the lines? I like my quarterback so much that I'm going to add a third
Vegas,
quarterback.
by the way, the Browns yesterday were plus 2,800 to win the Super Bowl, which was, and now they're plus 5,000.
Where was that?
They were 10th.
Okay, so again, Bull, it's. I just don't think that it was. Look, it's demoralizing.
That's their opinion, just like this is my opinion.
Vegas, look, the money's usually right, not always, but
Right.
usually
But
right.
that changes every
and
week,
Bull,
Jay.
honestly, if we're being honest with ourselves, and that's what we try to do every day.
Yes.
I like this team a lot. I really do.
Yeah.
But when push comes to shove, I think somewhere between 5 and 10 is about where they are.
The Browns could beat anybody in the AFC.
100%.
They can, and there are a lot of other teams that can beat anyone in the AFC.
So you're in the
But
party.
they were
So,
one of them.
I mean,
So
the
you
way
in the
we
party.
describe the NFL is any given
No,
Sunday.
but there's-
they're definitely in the party. So
But there's
for
only
that
5
reason,
teams in that party. 5 or 6.
Well-
and the Browns were one of them.
well, that's a third of the AFC.
But for most of their history, they were never one of them.
I get
That's a
that,
big
Bull.
difference.
I
We
get
talked
that.
yesterday about
But
this
again-
weekend being the most anticipated regular season game or one of
Facts.
the most anticipated
Yes,
regular season
and-
games
and
ever.
by the
So
way, the
that's why I
Browns-
think
true.
people,
If the Browns
if
would have
they're
beaten the
crushed, it's
Steelers this
fair.
weekend, they would have moved up to 7th or 8th in the odds.
Gee, if they were 9-1, would this feel different to you? It would to me.
To me, that 6-3 that they got right there because of what they went through and how they weathered the storm and the way they were trending with Deshaun Watson, that 6-3 is a 9-1.
100% agree. 100%
San Francisco
agree.
misses a chippy.
Hey, we taking that.
That's
No,
every
listen,
game,
I
Jay.
understand
Every
you're
game is
taking that.
close.
But
You
what I'm
can't
saying
make
is,
excuses.
there's levels to 6-3. There's levels to 9-1.
But here's
and I think Vegas is appropriately.
But
Wait
it
a minute.
changes every
me,
week.
Wait a minute. Let me kill that. Minnesota won a lot of games last year off of stuff like that.
And you know what? Over a larger
And they was
sample
what?
size,
What was
it
they,
all
9?
comes-
What was they, 10
all-
and
It
0?
all
10
comes
and
out in
Every
the
team-
wash over time.
The idea of
it does.
So I'm just
cherry-picking
saying, you
games
can't
they
really
could've lost
use
is
that
ridiculous.
example
this
because
game-
Minnesota was just
the Browns
that,
were
and
as
they
good as
weren't
any
that
team in the
good.
AFC.
Where did you have the Browns?
There's only one team with more wins than the Browns.
Would you
Kansas City.
now listen, I'm not talking about heart or TV talk show. You got a pile of money in your pocket, and you're
Okay.
going to put it on one team to win the AFC. Now, this isn't your heart. This isn't your fandom. This is your wallet, and I know how much you love your wallet.
Oh, yeah, I got paid today.
I know you did, and kudos to you for chasing that cash down. That's an inside story. We won't get to it on the air. But honestly, if you had a pile of money
Who would I put my money on to win the AFC?
Yeah, where was it going?
I would never go against Kansas City.
Okay. And realistically, you're right.
You can't.
Now they're flawed this year.
They are.
They have their
This is
issues.
ridiculous.
However,
The idea
to make me you're trying to talk me into being more
I'm
devastated.
not trying to talk you into anything.
I'm not.
The idea that we're going to be more upset because they were 8-1 versus 6-3 is ludicrous. The Browns were
Would you
a really
be less
good team.
disappointed if they were 3-6?
Of course, because they
Then
have
it-
no
then it's not
chance to
ludicrous.
win.
You're saying
Yes,
there's
it
levels to
is.
this.
There's levels. There's teams that can win the Super
Right.
Bowl and teams that can't.
And the
That's
Browns
the only two
could
levels.
make it to
Yes.
a
That's
Super
the
Bowl.
only two levels, Jay.
Right, but
and the
Bull-
Browns were in that level. That's it. No other levels matter.
So for someone who used
Yeah.
to be a cheerleader and try to pump up the fan base,
Yeah.
today you're trying to throw all of
I
this
am
acid on
not.
us and say you should feel
That's
awful.
not what I'm doing. I'm just saying thought your argument that 8-1 versus 6-3 is ridiculous. I'm not telling anybody to
Guys,
fry
the
in their
Browns,
soup.
we're
It's not
arguing
ridiculous.
minutia. We're
You made my
arguing minutia
point.
In
here.
my opinion, it is.
We're arguing minutia here. Let's get back kind of on topic of losing Deshaun Watson, what to do next. First, I got a FanDuel read, though, because we got to get our reason today regardless of what happens with the Browns quarterback. And FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. You score right now. New customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. It's $150 if your team wins. So if you think about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than right now. The app is easy to use with a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL, official partner of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
Before we go to